What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. How's everybody doing out there on this Wednesday, June 14th of 2023? Before we get into all the fun stuff, like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars, Spotify and iTunes, spread this word of mouth, and go search for us on the socials at the Alex Cuesta Show. Just go type that in. You'll see our plain ass logo there, and you'll know it's us. Go follow us. Go talk to us. If I disagree with you, I'll make fun of you probably. So definitely go do that. David, I don't know what you look like right now. You kind of have like that old school, like
a lot of hair,
Greek looking type of thing.
Well, this is with the headphones on, dog. It poofs up. Yeah.
Are you going for the full mullet? Can we please do that?
I could. I believe me, a mullet would be very easy right now. I would just have to business to front up. But no, I'm just letting it grow right now. Right now, I'm actually kind of tired. I know I told you I had energy in the car on the way here, but that's the reason why I had my little Pringles and I have my water here because I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired.
I mean, it's a good thing we only do hour shows and we're not Joe Rogan.
That's true. That's true. I'm still creeping along on the thing I keep hyping up every fucking week. I have a date for it. And honestly, I feel good about it, but I don't know if I should tell everyone yet.
I'm going to spoil it. He's coming out as a they, them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
He's officially they, them. And
why would that have a date?
He's non-binary. Because it's quite literally a gender reveal. It's more of a gender reveal than any of the kids stuff. So let's talk real quick. Last week's show, Dave, what do you have to say?
I was going to say, don't say that. If you're going to say gender reveal, people are going to get the wrong fucking idea. That's not it.
No, that we're going to relabel what gender reveals are because they're stupid for kids. So we're going to do that whenever like a 12-year-old is coaxed by their teacher to not tell their parents about their gender. We're going to call it a gender reveal in the school. We're going to celebrate it. Yes. More sick. Anyway,
it is Pride Month, so it is the season.
It is Ark of the Covenant month where they are celebrating the deadliest sin, which is weird. But last week's show, we had on our good buddy Colton Gesser. He's a producer for CBS Sports Radio. We had a good time talking all things sports like we like to do every once in a while. So go back, give that a listen, give Colton a follow. I think he's at Real Sea Wagon over on Twitter or something like that. Sea Wagon, something to do with Sea Wagon, which there's a story behind that. David probably knows it. I have no idea why he calls himself Sea Wagon.
It's just a nickname. I don't know the story. I don't think there is
Colton.
If Colton does his own thing.
Yeah. Colton is Colton. And if you were hearing the lovely lady that is our guest this week, she is Kelsey, co-creator of PokeBoardCo, and you can connect with her on Twitch at @rebelprincess_Leia Organa. Kelsey, what's going on?
Hi. Nothing much. Just hanging. Glad to be here. Very excited to come on a podcast. This is my first podcast.
Ooh, the podcast cherry getting popped. That's awkward.
Yeah.
Another one of David's friends coming on here because I have no friends. So we live vicariously through David. It's weird to say that David has friends, though. So it's bizarre. David,
it's weird being David's friend. I will say that.
I absolutely can't blame you at all.
Especially for this long.
It's funny because I'm the same age as your sister,
yes.
Kelsey, and you and David are the same age. And I had to say, for like the longest time, I didn't know you existed. Like I only knew about your sister, and it's like I never ventured like past knowing anything about your sister. Like we were just like, friends in school a little. And then all of a sudden, we're in a group chat, which could probably get all of us fired in our jobs.
Probably.
But, like, Kelsey's in, and I'm like, who the hell is this? And he's like, oh, she's cool. And he's like, she has an older sister. I think she was in your grade. And I'm like, oh, I put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, oh, younger sister. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what is PokeBoardCo. It's something I think is really cool. Tell people exactly what it is and what you do along with Dylan.
So my boyfriend and I are both, artistically inclined. And he has been a skateboarder since he was a wee lad. He's really into skateboarding. It's one of his favorite things ever. And so a couple of years ago, we joined Twitch and we joined a very awesome Pokemon community called the Legacy League. And they're a bunch of they do card breaks live on Twitch. And this was during the pandemic when everybody was getting back into Pokemon and stuff.
Nice.
And so we met these people and we kind of like slowly started to collaborate on the idea of, hey, Dylan has all these recycled skateboards. They're broken. They're just kind of sitting there. They're old. We can't really use them anymore. If you're a skater, you build up a collection of boards over time. And so he wanted something to do with these. And he used to like take them and like carve shapes out of them and make different stuff. And he actually proposed the idea to me. He's like, hey, like you're good at painting. I'm good at cutting these out. He's like, why don't we try to make some as like gifts for our friends? So we would send them to our streamer friends and have them open them up on stream. And it was, this big thing.
That's really cool.
And yeah, it was fun. And once we started doing it as like presents, as like a surprise, more people contacted us and they were like, hey, can I get one of these? Can I get one of these? And then people started saying, we'll give you money for it. Mm-hmm. So we really thought about it. We were like, okay, let's see, what the logistics would be. So he is kind of the front runner of like the business. He does all the invoices. He keeps track of like the materials that we purchase, whatever. He does all the billing, everything. And I just paint. I have fun. So we started, making them. We did like a big announcement. We sent out like 10 at once. We did a big announcement like, hey, we're making an online shop. You can actually pay for these now. And with that, we made a joint Twitch account so that we can go on Twitch and paint people's designs and cut them out and draw them live on Twitch. So if someone orders like a Pikachu, mm-hmm. They'll get to see the whole process on Twitch from start to finish, which, we thought would be a really cool personal part of it. We started
I have a
that
question quickly about that. Is there some pressure when you first started doing that, when you did your first Twitch, was there kind of pressure of like, don't fuck this up? Like,
oh my God,
I can draw these Pokemon. I know I can paint them, but it's like, I'm now doing this live.
Yeah.
Like kind of like a tattoo artist, right? But they can actually see what you're doing. You're not like on your back and it's a mirror. It's like, okay, I know this is like an intricate part of a Blastoise with the shading. Like, mm-hmm. don't screw this up. Now, do they ask you for specific poses? Like, will they be like, can you give me like the sprite from Generation 3 of this person, like type of stuff?
Yeah. So sometimes they do if they have a specific thing in mind, or if they just say, I want a Snorlax. And then we'll talk to them and be like, okay, here's some inspiration photos that we're going to go off of. Like, what do you like the best? Whatever. And then they tell us, oh, I really like this one. Or like, there was one that was like, can I get the Dark Charizard card? Like this specific art. And that was one of the Charizard that we made was one of the hardest ones. It took a really long time, but it came out awesome. It looks so good. But yeah, there is that pressure to perform. Like when you're on Twitch and you're doing it live, like if I mess something up, I have to like erase it and go back. But our community is just so like they outpour love constantly. Like if I'm like, I will be on there criticizing it and they're like, you stop it. That's beautiful. like, the artist is always the worst critic of the final piece. So like, me and Dylan will pick it apart, for hours, but they're like, stop it. It's perfect. It's fantastic. It's great. So we've gotten a lot of really positive feedback on everything. The only downside is that we have a very slow turnaround. It takes us a long time to make them, a lot longer than we would like to, especially since we both work full time outside of this. So it does take a lot longer than we like it to, but we're kind of getting into a groove now. We've been doing it for like a year and a half. So we're kind of at like a good pace where we're putting out more stuff more quickly. So
yeah. I'm gonna have you commission a girl board carved out as Lopunny for Dave because Dave is a simp. For Lopunny.
Not at all true. Not at all true. Why are you just lying on here?
And it has to be a girl board for the irony.
No. Yeah. I was going to say I'm a bad friend, so I didn't know this was becoming like a full-time business.
You're not even on her Discord. Her Discord community is dope.
I know. I'm
like a silent follower, but
terrible.
It is awesome.
I am probably going to have to cop one then and like, put it on the wall or something.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
I'd love to do that.
A Lopunny. It has to be a Lopunny.
Not a goddamn
Lopunny. Suggestive. Whoever made Lopunny was absolutely horny over there.
Oh my God. Listen, there are so many of those Pokemon that you're like, this is a thirst trap. And you're like, why? Why did this happen? We also
Ash Ketchum was the ultimate thirst trap, all right?
I mean, true.
Completely untrue.
It's true.
12-year-old the whole time.
We also we also don't just do Pokemon. We just do anything that's not hyper realism. Like we've made Disney character ones.
Yeah, just like designs.
We did
David, get a JoJo. Get a JoJo of him doing the X.
We'll do it. We do like, it's fun. We do anything that's in like cartoon or anime style. We just don't do hyper realism because that's a little too much. But anything that's cartoon, anime, whatever. Like we made a Naruto one before, so that was pretty cool. So whatever anybody wants, and all the prices are different. So if you check out our website, there's like pricing info on there, and because it's a commission, each one like we work
it's going to be
on an individual basis.
Exactly.
So what is your website? I'll give everyone your website link so they can go there.
I think I sent you the thing to our link tree.
Am I awful? Let me look. Yeah, your link tree. Let me go look at that.
Yeah, so on our link tree, that has the link to our Instagram page, our Twitch account, a link to join our Discord, and it has our direct website with all of our product information and some sample photos on there. I don't know it off the top of my head. I know it's a Wix site.
PokeBoardCo.wixsite.com. You will go to their website. And let's see, what else is more? You're going on the Instagram. The Instagram is PokeBoardCo. So it's not very difficult. PokeBoardCo.
Just put it in the description as well.
I will put it in the description. But I'm also But I'm also going to tell people now, Dave, shut up. And you can also go on their Discord, which is a dope Discord. Just go to PokeBoardCo and you can go in there and there you go. And you'll have a great time. It's a good community. Kelsey and Dylan are awesome. They do really good work. I always like jumping on there, and people will be cool there too, because when they get their stuff, they'll post a picture of it, and it's just cool to see the finished product and what you guys are doing. Now, this also puts pressure on Dylan to keep skating, keep breaking boards.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. Dylan's 32. He's been skating since he was like 7 years old. He's got so many boards. And the other thing is, like, if people want us to, like, if they'll send us their skated board that they want us to turn into a piece, we'll do that for them too.
That's pretty cool.
And we've had like friends of his will donate their old boards for us to use as well. So that's pretty cool. So we're not limited on the supply of boards yet, but I don't think Dylan is going to stop anytime soon.
Skaters reach out. Yeah, skaters reach out too. If you have any old boards that you're not like, because some of your old boards, I get it. You hit a trick there, you broke it. You're going to hang that one on your wall. You're not giving away that board. They're sentimental boards.
Right.
But if there's just like a whatever board you got, you thought was going to be better or chipped, and you're like, fuck this thing, send it over. Send it over, because that's cool. You'll be doing to a good cause, and maybe they can carve you out something pretty dope.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's jump in. We have some fun stuff to talk about outside of your really cool budding company. We want to talk about some ghost stuff. Now, this is going to be a fun episode, Dave, because we don't get to talk about some of this stuff. Me and you like talking about aliens. We'll
talk about it when it's just us two, usually.
Yeah, when it's just us two, like, we get weird when we know there's going to be like 6 listeners. But now we have like a whole community to keep happy. So we might actually get like 5 more fans. But so let's talk about some ghosts. Do you believe in ghosts? We're going to start there.
Yes, 1000%. Oh, yeah.
Now, do you believe that there's different types, like malevolent ghosts, like good ghosts, bad ghosts? Like, your ghost depth? What do you think? Like, what are the purpose of ghosts? What are they doing? Why are they still around? Give us some breakdowns of what you think. So,
one of my favorite ways to describe my belief in ghosts is actually have you ever seen the show The Haunting of Hill House? It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. I've heard of it. I haven't watched it. Oh my goodness. It's one of my favorite spooky shows ever. And it deals with a lot of themes of like, not just like ghosts themselves, but it's scary also. Like, it talks about like grief, death and dying, and family dynamics, addiction, mental illness, whatever. It's a very, very good show. Makes me cry every time I watch it.
That's a great promo.
Yeah. But The Haunting of Hill House, actually, there's one of the characters, it follows like a family. And one of the characters, when he's an adult, he doesn't believe in ghosts. And he says, he's like, I think that there are things that are supernatural are just not natural yet. So like science has not gotten advanced enough for us to understand things that we call supernatural. So like we call ghosts and, demons, religious, gods, whatever. They are classified as supernatural phenomena just because we don't understand it yet. We don't have the capabilities to understand it. So I think it's real, and I think there are little slivers here and there, but I think it's so far beyond like what humans can comprehend right now. So we try to piece it together with the knowledge we have, but we just don't have the knowledge. We just don't have the understanding. We can't fathom what actually is real. We just got to piece the little bits together, you know?
I like that. So do you ghost hunt at all? Do you go places and try to talk to ghosts? Like, do you use any like spirit boxes or anything like that?
I do not do that because I watch plenty of people online and like in shows and stuff do that. And because I believe it's real, I don't go out and seek it because I do think there are malevolent things out there that I don't know enough about them to protect myself from them. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever used the Ouija board?
Yes, I have.
I'm the only one that has it, apparently.
What were your results? Because I've used a Ouija board before. Did you make contact with anything while you were using it?
I did. And so I was in like 7th grade. David, I don't know if we weren't friends yet. We met like in high school, but
so you were living a good life for them.
Yeah. Do you remember Michaela? My old best friend, Michaela Lehman. Do you remember her?
Sounds familiar. The name sounds familiar. I'm bad with.
It's okay. So her and I kind of grew apart in high school, but in middle school, we were like attached at the hip. And so we were at her house. I was spending the night at her house, and you know, as girls do at sleepovers, we like to have fun, whatever. So we pulled out the Ouija board, and her mom actually wouldn't let us use it without her, which is a smart move. Like if I'm a parent and my kids want to play with a Ouija board and like I really don't want them to, but I want to be there just in case something bad happens.
My mom wouldn't let it in our house.
She just wouldn't. She just told us no.
I'm not letting it in my house.
My mom has a sixth sense, so she wouldn't let us do it because she's communicated with spirits. So
yeah.
So yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so she doesn't need a Ouija board to know.
No, absolutely not.
No. So we pulled out the Ouija board, whatever, and like, you know, while we're doing it, this and that, you know, I'm also one of the youngest people in my family. My dad is the youngest of 7. I am the youngest of my parents' 4 children. So I am like one of the youngest grandchildren of my entire family. So unfortunately, that means that older relatives of mine passed away before I could like really build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
So while we're playing with the Ouija board, it's like the thing is like shaped like an arrow.
Yep.
So it keeps pointing like at me.
Mm-hmm.
Like almost falling off the board, like aggressively pointing my direction. So my friend Michaela, her mom, immediately she's like, "No, we're not doing this. You can't have her, whatever." And I'm like, Mrs. Lehman, what's going on? Like I didn't know what was happening. And she, she's just being assertive. She's telling it no, whatever. She's ending the session. She closes it up. She's like, you know what? We're gonna put this away for the night. From like 7th grade until freshman year of high school, after that happened, there were just little weird things that would happen when I was alone that made me feel like something was around me and it was not nice. Like things would randomly move. There would be like loud sounds when I was home alone. If I was downstairs, with my dogs, like I would hear footsteps in my bedroom above me, whatever. And I know it's not my house.
No one's sleeping after this episode tonight.
Yeah. But here's the thing. For some reason, I felt like, I call them my angels. They're my relatives and close friends who have passed, and I feel like they're always watching over me. Mm-hmm. So I feel like at that point, my grandfather stepped in and said, okay, we're done. Like, we're not messing around with this. Like, you're not going to, like, I think he kept the thing at arm's length until eventually it gave up and went away. And I haven't had issues since.
That's awesome.
But even then, like, there's little things that happen here and there. Like, I lost a very dear friend of mine my freshman year of college. Mm-hmm. We were in the same criminal justice program in school, and we were on track for the 5-year master's program. Mm-hmm. So we were like supposed to be taking all the same classes the entire time we were there. And at Stockton, when you finish your master's, in order to graduate, you have to pass what they call the comprehensive exam. Mm-hmm. So instead of writing a thesis, you take this big test on all the courses you took during your master's.
That's awful.
Oh, it's awful.
That's harder. That's even worse. I'd rather do a thesis.
It is awful. And we complained about it very much, and they changed it back. But either way, I had to take the comp exam. So I'm driving down to Stockton. I'm like, I'm nervous, whatever. And I have like, the prayer cards you get at people's funerals.
Yeah.
So I have their prayer cards like in my visor, like all my angels. And so I flip up my visor and one of the cards just kind of pops out into my lap. And I'm like, what the heck? And I look at it and it's my friend Xander. His name actually was Alexander, but he didn't like Alex. He likes to go by Xander. That was
I'm offended, but
it's fair. I don't like Alex.
so Xander, you offend me.
Yeah, right. So Xander pops out into my lap, and I look at it. I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, he never. Usually, my grandpa pops out because he's a little jokester, so he likes to pop out in my lap and be like, hey, I'm here. But Xander fell out, and I was like, that's weird. And then it clicked. I'm like, he would have been going to take the comp exam with me today.
Yeah.
If I like it was his way of saying like, hey buddy, I'm here with you. I got your back. You're going to nail this test. And I just I broke down crying. I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. So, like there's like other stories here and there that I have about like things with my grandparents reminding me, my aunt who passed away, whatever. Dylan's dad passed away a few years ago. There's been times where I feel like he's around. So, there's a lot of things that have happened, but I could feel the difference between something with bad intentions and someone of like loving, someone that I know, someone who's there to help me and protect me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's like kind of a thing. I think only certain people can feel it, because I think most of us go through our days not feeling anything, right? Like we'll get some senses at times, and that'll kind of be like the instinct of like, go away from whatever this is, but we don't connect it in that same sense, because I think some people are more sensitive to it. Now, my experiences with the Ouija board. Now, Adele would not let us have it in the house. She hated it. So we had one of our buddies that we would just, there would be like 8 of us, 10 of us at a time, always at this house all the time. And this was sophomore, junior year of high school. And they had a Ouija board. Like his older sisters were more spiritual, so they kept it. And we wanted to do it. And the older sister was like, listen, just so you know, you're opening up a portal to the hell. Like, this is not like, you're not going to speak to anything positive there. This is all this is all demons. These are all malevolent. And we're like, whatever. We were in high school. We're like, we don't care. So we're doing it. And one thing, like, you'll know a Ouija board is working if you're not giving effort and you can feel no one else. Like, you kind of know when someone's trying to push it and being a dick.
Yes, you can tell.
Where you can feel that it's kind of guiding your hand, right? It feels like it's floating a little bit on its own. So we had that. And I forget this demon's name, but he would just hang out. And it just seemed like he was just tired. Like, he was just tired of being a demon. And I don't know if he was like fucking with us or not, but like, he would just mess with us and like told us, we're like, what has been your purpose? And he's like, kill humans. And we're just like, how? He's like, want to find out. Like, he messed with us completely.
Yeah.
Like, do you still do this? And he's like, no. And we're like, why? He's like, lazy. And like, like flat out would just say these things. And one time, apparently he got mauled because another demon was like, where did he go? And he's like, dead. Which I don't know if demons could die or not. At that point,
I don't know. That's more complicated.
At that point, we closed it up. But like, my experience with a demon, it was like, yeah, there's evil. Yeah, they're not good. But this demon that we were talking to was just kind of like, I think he said he was like something like over 10,000 years old, and he was just over it at that point. So like, he was
past his time. He's like, I need to retire, man. Like,
yeah. And, and I think there is something to the Sixth Sense, because I think like, when we, we're all anime fans here and manga fans. So there's so much of just supernatural writing. And I think there's something in our brain, a lot of it's so similar, right? And whether you're biting off of somebody else, but there's a reason why we design these things so similar. Like, there's some minor differences, but it all comes back to a similar way. And I think there's something to that. I think we kind of all have a notion of what this is, but we just can't, like you said, we can't put our finger on it yet. Right. So, I mean, I believe in ghosts. I think, I believe in ghosts. I believe in aliens. I think that there's why not? I think my theory is, what's the negative in believing? If it's not real, who gives a shit? Like, what did it hurt you if it's not real? Exactly. Like, David's not real, but, he just kind of shows up all the time.
See, that's the way that I feel also about, like, it's taken a turn, but also like religion. Like, in the Catholic Church, they say if you don't believe in God and follow God's word, whatever, like you're going to hell. And I mean, if you do and they're right, then you're good. But if you do and they're wrong, then what is the harm?
Mm-hmm. And also, it's like they're not telling you, like, when you're following Christianity, because we're all Christians here, and you talk about Christianity specifically, if you follow Christianity properly, it's just trying to tell you to live a good life. It's
Seriously.
Don't be a piece of shit. Don't kill people. Don't steal from people. Don't be envious to the point where you act wrong. Don't sleep with somebody's wife or husband. Like,
basic decency.
Yes. And the parables that are told by Jesus throughout are things that to this day in 2023 will help you solve problems in your life to this day. You don't read it as direct content when you're reading the Bible. And I don't care if it's King James, whichever one, whether it's a Protestant, the Catholic, the Episcopalian, they're similar in their sense. And a lot of the things are verbatim. You're reading it as guidance. So it's just telling you to live a good life. Like I don't understand the pushback against religion. I think we're slowly starting to see a shift back in society.
I agree.
Going back to religion because everyone's so fucking narcissistic and it's miserable.
Yeah.
David, what do you feel about ghosts?
Oh, I mean, I'm pretty sure we've talked about ghosts. I do believe
but I don't know if Kelsey has heard about it.
That's true. No, I do believe in ghosts. I have not had any interaction.
You were going to get a spirit box.
Bit. I am still going to get it's a good amount of money. So
and they are expensive.
I'm doing that. I'm going to get a spirit box. I'm still going to, believe me, that hasn't left my mind.
I have a student of mine that she does that stuff. Yeah, she's gone to Gettysburg and
so I'm
talked. Yeah, and
I'm going to use that.
Talk to like old Civil War ghosts over in like Gettysburg and stuff like that.
That is so cool.
And she has showed me like recordings from her spirit box where like they're trying to like talk and she's communicated with them. It's pretty cool. And she's like, she said she can't tell if she's like, some of them definitely know that they're dead, but some of them don't. And it's like, it's weird to see. But yeah, so Dave, you believe in them. What do you think the purpose of ghosts is? Do you have an idea of what
I think the purpose?
Yeah,
I don't think there's necessarily a purpose. I mean, it depends on your perspective, but I don't necessarily think there's a purpose. It depends. Like I said, if you think that spirits are bound to a spot because of what happened there, or maybe they have some kind of lingering effects in the world, like. There's so many ways to think about why there might be spirits, why there might be demons, why there might be so many type of paranormal or supernatural things that it's hard to really go and try to flesh it out. I'm not going to try to do that in this podcast. That'd be way too fucking long. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know the exact purpose. I don't think anyone does. But like you guys said, I don't know. I have fun believing in them.
Yeah.
And you most of the time know the people that are trying to mess with you and people that are just trying to get one over on trying to, real evidence. Like, no shit, that's no fucking way.
Yeah, no.
Any show that tells you they have real evidence, just watch it for the value of the entertainment.
And that's the thing. They're still fun. Like, it's still fun to watch to me, at least. So, yeah, I don't know the purpose of the ghosts, but I just feel like they're a thing.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. So, Kelsey, any movie recommendations for anyone out there that maybe has been, wants to like watch some of this stuff, like ghostly, spooky stuff, or, anything they could do? If you're in New Jersey, just go read Weird New Jersey and go do a bunch of that shit.
Yes.
That's a great time. And even if you're not, go enter in there and do that. But any movies or like TV shows, you talked about the one on Netflix, anything else that you would recommend for people to go out and seek out and watch?
So The Haunting of Hill House is obviously, one of my favorites. There's also in that series, so that show is directed by Mike Flanagan, and in the Flaniverse of shows on Netflix, they're all the same style. They're like spooky, but there's also The Haunting of Bly Manor. There's Midnight Mass is another one of his. That's the same kind of style. So I recommend all of those. The Haunting of Hill House was his first one, and it blew everything out of the water. Like, it set the bar really, really high.
Yeah.
By way of movies,
I will say, if the Flaniverse's like logo isn't a flannel, boycott it because he's missing a real opportunity.
And so it's those are all on Netflix. Those are some of my favorites. As far as like movies, I feel like ghost movies can get a little cheesy. So I'm not really into movies, but I watch a few channels on YouTube. One of them is called Watcher, and these two guys.
I don't know if I've seen too much of Watcher, but I've heard of Watcher.
So there's these two guys, Ryan and Shane, and I first discovered them on BuzzFeed Unsolved, and they had a ghost hunting show on there, and they are hysterical. So Ryan believes in ghosts and Shane does not, and they go ghost hunting together, and they're just hysterical to watch. So they moved from BuzzFeed to Watcher, and now they have a series called The Ghost Files where they go ghost hunting and whatnot. It is hysterical. It's one of my favorite things, and they actually, like, you can tell they don't fake it. They go in and they legitimately try to find evidence, and you see the guy who's a non-believer, Shane, he'll go and he'll be like, come eat my heart out, demons. And it's so funny to watch him, like, you know, like antagonize the demons. So I would definitely recommend.
According to us three, is something we don't recommend that you do.
No, I do not recommend it at all because I believe in ghosts and I'm afraid of malevolent things.
You know what actually fucks with my brain? That last scene, one of the last scenes in Ghosts, where the evil guy gets taken to hell by all the shadows.
Yeah, the shadows really
all
good
I
effect.
think about. That is all I think about when it comes to like demons. Like, that is what I think about. Like those shadow things just coming in and just fucking your brains up and dragging you to hell alive. Like,
I might have to watch that clip to see if that effect still like holds up. Like nowadays,
it was fantastic when I was 6.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if it still holds up the
terrifying.
same way it did.
You know what actually like really terrified me? Like what movie I actually kind of got scared in? The Babadook.
I didn't watch it.
Actually kind of freaked me out.
I've heard of it. I didn't watch it.
I love scary movies, and I like, you know, obviously I work in criminal justice for a living, so like I read some of the goriest, horrible things that people can do. You know, so not much phases me anymore, unfortunately. But when I watched The Babadook, I was pretty freaked out. And when I watched Insidious, the fact that the demon in that looks like Darth Maul, like I'm a huge Star Wars fan, which I know is another topic on our list, but he looked like Darth Maul, and then like Darth Maul got a little ruined for me after watching Insidious. And I'm like,
I have actually never seen Insidious, and he's my favorite Sith, so I might not watch it. But yeah, you mentioned a few new. I thought the first Paranormal Activity was pretty good.
Oh, yes. Paranormal Activity is a good movie.
2 or 3 weren't bad. They are god awful. Now, like, they're getting to the point where they're terrible, and I don't know if they can be saved. Like, the Saws weren't, like, they wore on me until like the last Saw when they tied it all together, and they made all the Saws really good together. But it's
I don't know if I agree with that statement. I don't know if I agree with that statement.
The story, the following, it made the. So I was getting annoyed that this motherfucker kept coming back. Right, it was annoying in the way that he did. But it just,
because I don't want to dive. I don't want to dive into this. I don't want to dive into this.
It made it make sense.
I just want to say,
made it make sense.
Makes sense. But the last movie was better than a lot of the ones after 2.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, so we have some good spooky stuff. Definitely go watch all that stuff. If you have any other questions, again, go into the PokeBoard Discord, not Disco,
yes,
not Disco. You guys aren't doing Saturday Night Fever. A Disco. Is there a Pokemon Disco? Is there a Disco Pokemon yet?
I would love for there to be like a disco ball Pokemon.
There was in Pokemon Coliseum. There was that weird guy that would just
that would just Minor B.
Minor B would dance the whole time. He was a disco guy. They did the Sudowoodo was amazing. Yeah. Honestly, that's one of the greatest Pokemon games of all time. Pokemon Coliseum.
Yeah.
GameCube is the most underrated gaming console of all time.
No, seriously.
But yeah, so. Definitely have all that spooky stuff. If you want more information, you want to talk to Kelsey some more, she's really accessible and she's awesome. Go on her Twitch channel. You can talk to her there. You can leave comments. Obviously pay them money. And then you can also go on their Discord and interact. So we're jumping into Star Wars now because you and I are massive Star Wars fan. David is a bad Star Wars fan. He's only seen, have you seen the outside of the 9 main movies? Did you see?
I saw Rogue One. I saw Rogue One.
You didn't put yourself through Solo?
No, I didn't put myself through. You know, Scott actually likes Solo.
Well, Scott's an idiot. Solo was not good. Solo was bad.
I feel like Solo wasn't bad, but it really wasn't great. Like it doesn't stand out.
Scott's the only person I've heard say he thought Solo was good. It's the only time I've heard.
Solo should have been Cowboy Bebop, what they tried to do, because Han Solo is Spike Spiegel. Like there is no question. They based Cowboy Bebop on Han Solo, Chewbacca, and that whole crew.
Yeah.
So, like, what we got from that was hot garbage. I hated Solo. I hated Solo. But
Oh my God.
we're not here to talk. We are here to talk about a little bit about the past. So, what are your thoughts on what Disney Plus has been doing to Star Wars, and Disney in general has been doing to Star Wars since they got a hold of the property?
So, I mean, the series that they're coming out with, most of the new series that they have expanded upon are awesome. Mandalorian is a fucking showstopper. Everybody loves Mandalorian.
Season 1 and 2. I at season 3. You like
season 3? So season 3 of the Mandalorian. We'll circle back to that, but just in general, okay. On your question on Disney,
okay.
Andor was really good. Bad Batch was really good.
Yes.
So I like a lot of what Disney has done in that realm. As far as the sequel trilogy, I'm like, there are things that I like about it, and then there are things that I don't like that they did. Like, for example, one of the things that I will always stand by is the fact that Disney's Luke Skywalker is not my Luke Skywalker.
Not at all. Not anyone's
That
Luke
is
Skywalker.
not my Luke Skywalker. That is not the kind of attitude he has. Like, that's not the person that he is. The way that he reacted to Ben kind of...
Yeah.
Like
going over
to the dark side. That was not him.
If I can interject real quick, because I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but even I, watching The Last Jedi in the theater, was thinking to myself, yet again, not a huge Star Wars guy. That's not what, like, does Luke learn nothing? Like, has he learned nothing from his fucking time?
Not my Luke Skywalker.
And you know what, though? The thing is, if you want to go with the Luke is kind of depressed about the way shit has gone down route, fine. You can do that. But there was no turnaround. There was no hero's journey. There was nothing like to bring him back around besides that, pretty cool, but also dumb hollow projection. Like, it was cool, but it was too little too late for that to even be, because there's no reason for him to want to do that. They didn't set up a reason for Luke Skywalker to give a shit in any way, shape, or form. So, but what did you like about
Sorry, continue.
So I actually really like, I like the character Finn. I like him. I like that they pulled him into it. Mm-hmm. I feel like we got a lot of really good memes out of Kylo Ren. We definitely got a lot of good memes, and I feel like they kind of kept the same breath of like, okay, in the prequels we have the angsty main character, and there's a good guy and a bad guy, and then we got supporting people on each side and whatever. So like they kept that kind of theme with it, but it felt Disney-fied, if you catch what I'm trying to say. Like, it felt like, okay, this is a Disney movie.
It didn't work. And I don't know if it also had to do with Adam Driver. I didn't think Adam Driver was a very good Sith. I think he's fine for what he is as a person, but maybe he didn't have the opportunity to be a good Sith. They maybe didn't write him well, but I mean, they missed a huge opportunity when he crushed the mask. Why isn't he going full evil? Like,
Alex, I've said this before to you multiple times, Kelsey. You probably never heard me say this. I really like Kylo Ren's mask design. I like it a lot.
Oh, me too.
Really cool.
For him to not wear that through most of the movies and have it off most of the time fucking ruins him for me. Like, he should have that mask on so much, man.
Could you imagine if he was just pure evil and whenever he entered into battle, he would just pull it out, throw it on, and then just become a fucking badass? Like,
go towards the mask when he's killing his parents, showing that he's cutting his emotion off.
Right.
There's so much you could do with it.
And even the thing, like, in the original movies, Darth Vader has the mask the whole time. Like, that is Darth Vader. That's
him, yes.
Right? That's not Anakin. That's Darth Vader. And the same thing in the beginning. Like, we're talking about, like, the evil empire, whatever. And Palpatine has the hood. That's, like, a signature thing. Mm-hmm. And, I feel like they really Disney-fied it. And another
signature thing is being a bitch.
And it downplays him. Like, the villain in Star Wars is supposed to have this element of mystery. Like, who is this person behind the mask? And I think that they overplayed the whole Kylo gets redeemed, and then he's good, and then Palpatine's back, and, I'm like, oh my god,
they nerfed his ability as a swordsman too, because there's no
he should not be struggling against.
Here's the thing, it's fine. Finn being a clone obviously would be able to be adept with the lightsaber, right?
Still
not at Kylo Ren's level.
Not a
Palpatine shouldn't be nowhere near his level. He should toy with them. He should torture them. Like, they should need to be saved every single time, like Luke was. Luke never truly defeated Darth Vader. Yes, you could say at the end he did. He defeated him mentally with his emotions. He never physically defeated Darth Vader. It was never Luke Skywalker. At no point in Darth Vader's life was he ever more powerful than Darth Vader. And they missed an opportunity for that struggle to go on here, where Kylo Ren is just that. He kills Snoke like it's nothing. And Snoke was made out to be an extremely powerful guy that threatened. Everyone was terrified of Snoke.
Right.
Well,
it just doesn't, like, it doesn't fit with the continuity. Like, if you look back at the original trilogy and you look at Darth Vader just like as a presence, like everyone was afraid of him because he was stronger than everybody. Like, and it took a team to try to really outsmart him and take him down that way, because nobody could match him.
And those that tried to have a backbone, he killed.
Yeah,
like, any of the people within the Empire that tried, he would force choke every fucking person that looked at him wrong.
Yeah, and like you said, Kelsey, like, you know, with Darth and his mask, Palpatine in the hood, they have certain character design. Everyone can know. If you see Vader pop up on a screen, you're like, oh shit, like, what's going to happen? If you see Rey, Kylo, you see it's not the same kind of hype for them. It's I mean, unfortunately, they didn't build the characters out in a good enough way to, but it's not the same kind of hype for any of the original characters.
So, Kelsey, did you read any of the EU books, which are now quote legends?
I did not. I'm not a book person. I don't really like to read. I
audiobook. So I audiobook because I'm a terribly slow reader. And I just have to say, I don't know if you've heard this, but essentially what it seems like they tried to do with Ben Solo was they tried to do an EU story of Jason Solo, which eventually becomes Darth Caedus. He's another Solo. He becomes pure evil. He's one of the strongest Jedi. He has a twin sister who is a strong Jedi. And then he goes to the dark side. And he becomes a fucking force, like kills so many of the Jedi that Luke has fought to come and bring back up. And he eventually comes back. He does get a redemption story. Darth Caedus does come back to the light side. But it seems like that's what they were trying to go with. And they made Ben a poor man's Jason Solo.
Yeah.
And they ripped Ben. Ben is a Skywalker in the EU. He is Luke's son. And he's a fledgling Jedi. And it's like they completely and totally, I feel like they spit in the face of anyone that's a fan that's read all those. All of the Star Wars nerds that were just really faithful. They already heard us calling it legends and saying it's not real anymore. But then to take a name of a character we already know and love and place it on a character that we know you're trying to create and doing badly from the EU. It's like, I don't know, maybe that makes the movies worse to me because of seeing what they did to it.
And that's understandable. And I feel like, I feel like Disney did that because they wanted to take it and make it theirs. They didn't want to go off of it, but they had so much good material that they could have just taken that and ran away with it. Like, take that material, work with those authors and make it into reality. And like the fan base is going to go wild for it. They're going to go nuts for it. Yeah. You're going to make so much more money. You're not going to piss off the fans that you already got. And you're going to expand your fan base because you can continue to make more movies on material that's already been there. Disney knows how to recycle material. Look at the fucking Little Mermaid. Like they can take their own stuff and stuff that already exists and they can make it into something that is still profitable today. Why can't they do that with Star Wars?
And I'm curious too, because they keep on showing that they're bringing in Grand Admiral Thrawn into the Ahsoka series, which the Ahsoka series could be very good. Rosario Dawson looks fantastic. I have no faith in them doing it properly though, because they're fucking stupid. They ruined Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan was one of the worst characters in Star Wars. And you're now doing that. And I am a nerd and I read all the books, and Timothy Zahn basically created Grand Admiral Thrawn in the books. And the character is just a genius in every which way. And I just fear that Disney is going to do what they do with the villains, where they're just going to make him a bumbling moron that makes mistakes that Zorn wouldn't make and do things that we know he wouldn't do. And they're just going to fan service us, make him look good, make him sound right. But he's going to just be a moron. And that's what I'm concerned with. And Ahsoka is going to sit there and be like, girl power, and just kick his ass. Like that's what's going to, and I'm probably ruining the plot for all the directors in Disney that haven't seen it yet.
But that's the thing is like, I feel like Disney is taking these really powerful, like actually scary villains that have a chance because they don't want the bad guy to win, because that's Disney.
Yeah.
They don't want the bad guy to win. They don't want the bad guy to have a chance. They want the good guy to come out on top. So it's like, oh, we struggle and da-da-da-da. But it's like, no, like give us these like intimidating powerhouse villains that we really need to strategically come at in order to beat them, not just like strong arm them down, George Lucas created real struggle. So like he got you attached to Qui-Gon Jinn in the Phantom Menace. And Phantom Menace, Jar Jar Binks is an abomination. He's a Sith Lord. He is a Sith Lord, I'm convinced. But I love JarJar Binks. I have a soft spot for him.
He's the worst. The whole Gungans can honestly, a Gungan genocide would be great for Star Wars.
Oh my gosh.
But you got attached to Qui-Gon Jinn, and Qui-Gon Jinn was awesome. He was like, his faith and everything. And what did they do? Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it yet. They kill him. He dies by the hands of Darth Maul, who is also awesome in the fact that he says very little the whole time. Darth Maul barely speaks. He doesn't speak during the fight. He's just awesome. He's just prowling like a dog.
Scary. He's scary.
Yeah. And you truly think for a second, once he beats Qui-Gon, is Obi-Wan just going to run, right? Because Obi-Wan at that point was still like, he wasn't a Padawan, but he was still not, he was a knight, but he was still learning. He was still learning his place.
Not at Maul's level yet.
No. So there was a true sense of dread there. There was something going in there. And so George Lucas was able to create that, right? And the struggles and the fact that, you knew the good guys were going to win, but man, there was that sliver of chance that he might have pulled a Game of Thrones and let the bad guy win. So there is none of that now. We know what's going to happen. We know exactly how it's going to go down. And so are you as positive as I am for the Star Wars future with Disney?
I mean, I am hoping, because they have turned out like, some good things here and there that I've really enjoyed. So I'm hoping that they'll take it in the right direction. I am sad that there's going to be elements that we're never getting back. Like the scary villain, and the villains had like an element of mystery to them that like you didn't really know, because they were like the last resort card of like, okay, we really need to pull out the big guns. So like in the original trilogy, you didn't really know a lot about Darth Vader and like who he was and where he came from. They had to make 3 whole prequels to explain the villain's origin story.
Every time Vader was on the screen, he killed somebody in the original.
Exactly.
Until, every single time, basically.
Right. And like people are arguing, like, give us the backstory, like about Darth Maul. They want a series about Darth Maul. They want him to come back. General Grievous, people like that. Like, where did he come from? Like, like these are the intimidating, scary villains, but they're like mysterious in a way. Like that they're powerful, but you don't know a lot about them, and that's part of what makes them so cool and interesting and like keeps your attention.
So I want to talk to you about their new series that they just produced. It was supposed to be season 3 of The Mandalorian. It's the Fee-Mandalorian. I'm stealing that from Nerdrotic. Thank you, Gary. The Fee-Mandalorian happened because we have gotten the story of Bo-Katan, right? They shift away from Pedro Pascal and Jurgen, and they bring back product placement Grogu, who, if you didn't watch another series, which wasn't very good in Boba Fett, if you didn't torture yourself with the Boba Fett series, you have no fucking reason why Grogu's back. Because at the end of Mandalorian 2, Grogu's gone. He left. There was that emotional goodbye. Luke CGI Mark Hamill comes in and does the Darth Vader, essentially. They recreated Darth Vader's entrance scene, and which was cool. I give him that. That was a really cool scene. And it was a fine way to end. And you're like, okay, Grogu maybe is going to go Yoda it up somewhere and become powerful. And then all of a sudden, if you didn't watch Boba Fett, if you just kind of like Mandalorian, this green little bastard that has had no progression whatsoever is now back hanging out, just cooling everything again.
Wait a minute. what the hell happened here? Yeah, like you have no idea like what happened in the time in between if you didn't watch Boba Fett. So that's kind of annoying. And I mean, the third season of The Mandalorian, someone phrased it to me this way, and I was a little more open-minded after that. I was like, okay, the series is called The Mandalorian, and we take that to be, this is Din Djarin's show. But what if it's The Mandalorian as a people? Like, we're talking about the Mandalorian species claiming back their planet and da-da-da. Like, it's a stretch.
I get it, but it does feel like a cop-out.
It does. It totally feels like a cop-out. I'm not saying it's not a cop-out.
You
it
can
totally is.
no. But there was no real transition. There wasn't even a hint at that. Like, you could have sat there and, like, if that's the way you wanted to go, season 2 should have not been about Din Djarin, whatever. I can't say his name. It should not have been about him. Like, they should have wrapped him up in season 1, and then right away in the beginning, boom, you're meeting a new Mandalorian. And then you can bring him back in, and he can make cameos, and you can have product placement. Grogu come back in every once in a while. And then you could have done, and that would have been fine. Because then we could have eventually gotten to Bo-Katan. And Bo-Katan, while her story's fine, they fucked it up by destroying the Darksaber. Like, again, they sit there and they shit all over, because now who leads Mandalore? There is no Mandalore anymore. There can't be a leader of Mandalore now. That is the lore right there. So it's like, what do they do next?
Right. Where do they take it now?
Useless. Like, like apparently Pedro Pascal might not be coming back because he's a piece of shit on set. So
I think this might have been like you said, the transition season of like, let's scoot away from Din Djarin because we don't really like Pedro Pascal anymore. But we're keeping Grogu because he makes us money.
Yes, exactly. 100%.
He makes us so much money. Yeah. And we gave him a robot. So now he can talk. He goes, no. I will say, I do love Grogu in the robot. That makes me really happy. Like him hitting his buttons and saying yes and no is very funny to me. I do like that. It is
comical, but it's also as good as Jar Jar Binks right now. Like, Grogu is the equivalent of Jar Jar Binks for the Mandalorian. He is becoming as annoying, and it's kind of like they hint about how powerful this species. We don't have a name for Yoda species yet still, and they just always hint about this. We're looking at something in the beginning. We're like, oh shit, we might be getting another Yoda. We get to watch this little thing grow. Really cool, right? And now 3 seasons later, all they have to do is save this little bastard every time. And then in the final one, nobody cares about him. He's not even a central part of the 3rd season. He just knows and yeses everybody to fucking death.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I've lost all faith in Disney's ability
to
not destroy everything I love. Maybe I hold it against them with Marvel. Maybe it's because I hate all the live actions. I have
it is frustrating because like Grogu has such potential to be this really powerful, dynamic character, and we can watch him grow up and get stronger and fight the good fight. Like, we can't, like, they have the ability to do that, but it's like, do you really trust that they're going to? Because they made so much money off Grogu being this cute little like thing, that are they really going to let that go? But they should.
How much you want to bet he appears in Ahsoka and does nothing again? It does nothing, and like comes in and she's like, "Oh, little guy, I told you I couldn't train you," and he's like, "Yes," and he's like, and that's it. He leaves. Like, I guarantee we're gonna get an episode of just him trying to tell her to get trained.
I wouldn't doubt it. And then
for some reason, Boba Fett comes in and is like, "You're doing good, little guy," and flies away again. Like, you're gonna put all this dumb shit in. Again, I have no faith. But we're gonna go to something positive because we're gonna talk more about you.
Okay, me.
So you are a dancer.
I am a dancer.
A dance.
Yes. I've been a dancer for a long time.
Yeah. How long have you been dancing?
I started when I was 5 years old. Actually, my sister was doing it first, and then I saw my sister doing it, and I was like, I want to do that too. So my mom signed me up for dance class, and I've been doing it ever since, really.
What is your favorite style of dance to do, or styles?
Well, I mean, I can say that I've done basically all of it. I did it competitively for years, but I've always really liked musical theater is so much fun. Tap dancing is really fun. Hip hop is one of my favorites too. I like things where you can be like really big and expressive, but I also had to do the boring stuff like ballet and, contemporary, whatever, the soft, pretty. I'm like, I don't want to be soft and pretty. I want to like make noise and be loud and have fun. That's what I like to do the most.
Fun fact, I got to do a choreographed dance by Kelsey once.
Yes.
Oh, what dance did you do?
That's for Mr. Manchester.
Yes.
Oh, and how badly did you fuck it up?
I thought I did fine.
You guys all did okay. You did fine.
See, exactly.
You could say he sucked. You could say
it was for comedic purposes, so they fit the bill.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, what are you doing in dance capacity as we speak? Are you doing anything dance wise now?
I am. I am actually through our hometown's recreation department.
Manchester?
Yep, good old Manchester. I am working with Manchester Rec. Every year they do a summer musical. It's a kids program. And I am the assistant director and choreographer for that program. So I'm still teaching kids how to dance. And we actually had rehearsal tonight. That's where I came from right before here. We are doing the Addams Family this summer.
That's so cool.
So it's going to be a great show.
What age group do you normally work with when you're
the minimum age is 9, oldest is 18. So 9 to 18. My kids are big range. We have a really big group this year. We have 40 kids.
Now, what part of the Addams Family are you doing? Are you doing kind of Addams Family values? Or are you focusing more on like kind of bringing in the new Wednesday style that they did with the series? Like, what can we expect if we go and we see that your kids performing in Addams Family?
So the Addams Family, actually, they made a musical for the Addams Family back in the early 2010s. Nice. They made a musical. It was on Broadway. Oh, wow. So we always do a Broadway show. You have to buy like the copyright to do it, and they won't like you have to buy the script, the music, the rights to actually put on the show, whatever. There's a lot that goes into doing a musical, and they do this for school plays too. You can only do something that already exists unless you want to write a whole musical yourself, which is a lot of work.
David will write you one.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. My boyfriend Dylan suggested that instead of Addams Family, we should do The Nightman Cometh from.
Oh, please do that. Please, that'd be incredible.
I don't know if we can get the rights to that one. I would love to
Book of Mormon next.
Oh, yeah. For a kids show.
Yeah. Yes. Everyone will
So we were considering different options of like what we wanted to do. Last year we did Matilda.
Cool.
So this year we're doing the Addams Family musical, and the story is basically, we come upon the Addams in their spookiness, whatever, and we find out that Wednesday is in love with Boy, and he's normal. He's a normal person. And the story of the show is basically, it all happens in one night. And it's the story of this normal boy that Wednesday wants to marry, and his parents come over for dinner. And it's just the fallout of, the Addams and their kookiness and whatever. And, these normal people are trying to be introduced to the Addams Family for the sake of Wednesday and her new boyfriend.
It's funny. All I'm thinking is like that play is like the marriage between like Hotel Transylvania and the Birdcage. Like if those two were like shoved together, like that is kind of what you get. Like that's kind of what I think about. But that seems fantastic. So please tell me you have somebody wearing all black, running around with just their hand exposed as the Thing and just running around stage.
Oh, I wish we did. Thing is not in the show, and neither is Cousin It. It's
God.
Yeah, and I think we're going to try to do a little cameo appearance, because in the musical on Broadway, what they had was Thing popped out of the middle of the curtain in the beginning and like waved at the crowd. And when the curtain opened, Thing like pulled the curtain open. So, and some people throw in a Cousin It, like in a random scene, you see him kind of wandering around in the back. So we might do something like that. But as far as like the main characters go, we have all of our kids cast, and then the ensemble are the Addams ancestors. So they're all dressed up as ghosts, and they're, Addams family people.
We're going full circle here.
Yeah, they're Addams family people who passed. And so the ancestors are on stage all the time, and they make things float in the background, and they make some of the stage magic happen.
That's cool.
So it is cool, and it's a good way to get all of the kids involved, not just the people who have speaking parts, Yeah.
Where does this performance go on? Where do you guys get to do it?
At Manchester High School.
Very cool.
At the high school. So, it's fun, and it's very short program. It happens in all of June and all of July, and that is it. We have 2 practices a week. So it's a lot to really squish in. It is hard. It's hard on the kids, but the kids do a really good job. They're very dedicated. They go home and practice, and they come in ready to go and eager to learn, and they have a lot of fun, You
get a lot of the same kids coming back.
Yes.
And doing it.
And the director of the show, my friend Emily, she's now moving to a different school district, but for the past couple of years, she was the middle school chorus and drama teacher.
Very cool.
So she would bring a lot of her students in, and we have a lot of the high schoolers that, we know them over the years, so they always come back to the program. We get a lot of the same kids will come back year after year. COVID kind of put a stint in things.
Yeah.
And we kind of had to start from scratch, but now that we're a few years after COVID, we're starting to really build up the program again, which is really good to see.
That's really cool. So one of my questions for you is, why continue to stay in dance? What is making you teach dance, continue to dance? Like what is your passion for? Why do you love it so much?
Oh my gosh, it's just fun. I have fun doing it. And I mean, even when I will say it keeps me in shape. That's for sure.
Helpful.
It keeps me in shape. And it's also
start dancing.
It's like, I don't know. It is a good way to just kind of forget about the realities of day-to-day life and focus on something. It's like the same as art. It's the reason that I paint. I can really put attention to detail in something and really focus on that, but I'm just using my body to do it instead. So that's why I've always liked it, and I've stuck with it throughout the years. It's a lot of fun. I'm also I like being in the spotlight. So going on a stage in a costume, performing for people, and they're all paying attention to me at the same time is very fun for me. It's not fun for everybody, but it is very fun for me.
So when you're teaching your students, what are you trying to instill in them? What are you trying to pass down in them? Have you had teachers that have passed down certain things to you that you're trying to now branch and bring to your kids that you're, choreographing and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, I would say one of the biggest things that dance gave me was discipline. You really have to pay attention to minute details, and you have to, remember choreography over time. Dance teachers, we're harsh. We're not, we're not forgiving. We're very harsh. And I remember when I was on Stockton's dance team, when I auditioned for that for the first time, I remember my coach saying to us at audition, she's like, I'm not looking for the prettiest leaps. I'm not looking for the most flexible person. I'm looking for strength and endurance. So dance is not just about being soft and light and pretty. Ballerinas are fit.
Yeah.
And, it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of self-control to, be dedicated to practice like that every day and to move your body in a specific way. It takes a lot of mindfulness to know, okay, I'm moving this, but I'm not moving this, but I'm moving this, and I'm flexing this muscle, but I'm not doing that. It's hard. There's a lot to think about at once. But that, and just, I like to teach them to be confident, especially in, a kids theater group. We're not on Broadway. I'm not going to be super hard on these kids. I want them to get the choreography right, and I want them to feel good about what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't want them to have to watch me all the time. I want them to feel comfortable knowing it, because in musical theater, you have to sing and dance at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's hard. That's really hard. And I want the kids to be confident in their abilities. And I'm always just trying to keep positive and be like, hey, ask me questions. If something's not clear, let me know. If anyone lost, scared, or confused, let me know. So, and I just have fun with them, and I tell them to have fun too, and just be confident in yourself. And even if you forget or you do something wrong, do it with confidence. Like, oh, I messed up and I'm going this way, but yep, that was planned. So I'm going to go back. Like, you know, like that was part of it.
Yeah.
Don't let Kelsey fool you. She walks around with like a little stick and just whips the kids in like the legs and like the arms when they're not right. And it's like Miss Hannigan, like that. She, like that's exactly what she does. No. So, have you ever had any consideration of making this something like a career, like opening up a studio? Like obviously you have a career now in criminal justice. Has there ever been the bug to like open up your own studio and start to make this a full-time thing, because you're obviously passionate about it?
Yeah.
And you know, it's always cool when you can make your passion your career, but it doesn't always work out that way. Have you ever had that kind of like bug and like, maybe I should make this leap, like I know I can teach, like, or is it just kind of something that you just love to do and you don't want to make a full-time job?
So here's the thing about that. Like if you're a dancer, like when you're a kid, whatever, and you go to a studio, you do dance competitions, this and that, you spend all of your money and you do that. There's the consideration of, when I go to college, am I going to do dance? And I did think about that. And I tried to get into PAA, the Performing Arts Academy High School for Ocean County. I auditioned. I took the test. I did not get in. They rejected me, and I went to Manchester, but it actually turned out better for me at Manchester. I had a much better time. I had better opportunities. I wouldn't have met the friends that I have.
Or the tumors like me.
Yeah. So, you know, I didn't end up going to PA, but I still kept dancing. And, you know, when I got to the point of considering, do I go to college for this? I decided not to, for several reasons. One, it's really competitive, and there will always be someone better than you. There's always someone who's going to do it better than you can. And I know my abilities. Like, I'm a good dancer. I won awards. I stood out. I was in musicals. I got lead parts, whatever. I was not on the same level as some of these people that are in New York, and like they live, eat, breathe, sleep this stuff. I was not on that level. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to compete with them. As far as like opening a studio, my sister and I have talked about it several times. We would love to do something like that, but it's not a stable lifestyle. I know myself and my core values. I want a husband. I want children. I want to settle down. Family is important to me, and I need to be able to support my family. I was very good in school. I graduated in the top 10. I had a lot of very good scholarship opportunities, so I didn't want to waste that. And I applied myself academically in order to get a good job to support the future that I want for myself. And dance just did not align with that. But, you know, eventually this opportunity through Manchester came up to be involved as a choreographer. So I still get to do it, you know, a little bit on the side here and there. And I can go take a dance class, you know, an adult dance class when I feel like it, if I want to. So it's still something that I keep in my life. Like, I haven't completely written it off, but it's not a sustainable lifestyle for me.
It is refreshing to hear like an artsy fartsy type person actually to be logical. Like, and that's not a knock on that community. It really isn't, because we need that type of people. We need those people that are willing to take chances, and that are willing to just be starving for a while to do their passion, because those are the ones that make great things happen. You know,
absolutely.
When you play it safe, like, you're not necessarily like, you can have great things happen, but it's you got to really force the issue to kind of do those things. Like, you know, Dave and I, we just talk on a mic, but we talk about some risky shit in terms of that could really affect our lives. And we've had on people that, you know, if we ever do come to light, we might not be able to go back to our current jobs type of thing. So, but it's like, you got to take risks at times. But there's also the choice of whether to take a risk. And like you're doing, you want to at least get your life fully established first. And it's not something you can close the door on, right? There is no age limit to opening up a studio. If you could teach dance, you could teach dance. So it could be something you could do down the road, but it is cool that you're keeping it in your life while also keeping your goals for your life in perspective.
Right. And the other thing about being a dancer is that you use your body. Your body is your tool. Yeah. So God forbid something happens where, you know, I'm in an accident and I break a limb. I can't work anymore. I don't have anything to fall back on. Or, you know, like I said, I want to have children. If I get pregnant, I can't dance. It's not safe. So, you know, I don't plan on getting pregnant until later in life. Like, I'm still very young. I still have a lot a lot of time before I plan on something like that happening. But accidents happen. You never know.
Miracles, damn it. Miracles happen. Damn it. David was an accident.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm in that spectrum. So I mean.
Yes, you are on the spectrum, David.
Yeah. But I mean, but that's the other thing is like, what if my body goes out of commission? What if something gives out on me? Then I can't rely on that anymore. And most dancers, like if you go to see like a professional ballet company, a lot of those ballerinas are teenagers. A lot of people don't realize they're not adults. They're like 13, 14, 15-year-olds. They're not adults.
They're the Chinese gymnastics team.
Right. So like, girls like me, I'm 25. I would be considered like old in the dance realm. Like, okay, we're gonna usher you out. You're getting a little rusty. Like, my hips crack when I walk up the stairs, so like, and I'm still flexible. Like I can still keep my own here and there, but I know that like I would be on my way out. Dance is a very short-lived career.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, as much as there's a little bit of negative there, it's still a positive that you're keeping it in your life and you're doing it. So that's awesome. And what else is awesome? That you came on the show, Kelsey. Thank you so much.
This was a great show.
Yeah, this was fun. I'm glad to be here. I love to talk. So like I said, I like the spotlight. So
you can jump on anytime. Now I have to ask you one last thing. When it comes to PokeBoardCo and doing Twitch, how does it feel to have simps now?
To have simps. Well, it's funny because like I don't really have that kind of thing because I do it with my boyfriend.
I mean, simps don't care.
So like
they do. You'd be surprised how much they do. I can't remember who it was. One of the big girls who didn't disclose that she had a boyfriend, and when it came out, they were mad. Those simps are mad, man.
But so you're upfront about it.
Our brand is both of us. Like you get us too. And it's funny because people simp for Dylan more than they simp for me. Like I'll come on stream and they'll be like, "Where's Squeeze?" And I'm like, "He's not here today. It's just me." And they're like, oh. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm not enough for you." And then they come on.
You see that number
like,
go down.
Yeah. And he comes on and he's like, "Hey, everybody." They're like, "There's that sexy man." And I'm just like, "Oh my God, like pause off my boyfriend, guys." Like, my God. It's funny though. But they, we consider them our friends. Like we game with them on the side and, we send each other Christmas cards and like, but there's other people that we have a friend from, oh my gosh, where is he from? I think he's from Germany. And he came on one day. I was playing the new one, Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
And so I was playing on stream because when we don't have anything to make, we usually just play video games on stream. And so I was playing on stream and he just pops in. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" Whatever. I'm like, "Oh, hey, new friend." And he's like, "I have shinies that I'm like trying to give away to people. Do you want a bunch of shinies?" And I was like, "Okay." And he was just giving me shiny Pokemon. Wow. And he chimes into our stream every time. We made a new friend internationally. Like we have a couple people that have chimed in that way. So like, you meet friends all over the place. And, everybody goes by their Twitch username. So like everyone calls me Leia on there and everyone calls him Squeeze. Like that's just who we are. So, but we have a lot of fun on that channel. And we're actually probably going to live stream on Friday because I'm off work Friday. It's a government holiday.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have a set schedule that you necessarily do, or you guys kind of pop in and out?
No, we just kind of pop in and out. We've tried to stick to a schedule in the past, and it never works out.
It's hard.
Because my work schedule is usually the same. His work schedule is different every week. Yeah. It's like he gets paid hourly, so they give him different hours every week, like based on when he's available. And then especially like, we just have a lot of going on. Like I have a big family. He has a big family. We have friends who, we're at the age where all of our friends are getting engaged, getting married, having children, blah, blah, blah. So we try to go to support our friends, in real life, stuff like that. Like his best friend is getting married next Wednesday.
Nice. Congrats.
And he's officiating the wedding.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. So like, so there's a lot of
Are you gifting a Pokeboard?
We wanted to. We really wanted to, but we didn't have the time.
Yeah,
we had orders we had to get through and but they're not going anywhere. They're really, really good friends of ours. So, they'll get something in due time.
So once again, she is Kelsey. On Twitch, she is known as Rebel Princess _Leia Organa. She is, as we just talked about, the co-creator of PokeBoardCo. Go join their Discord. Go talk to them on Twitch. They're awesome. Go put in an order. Go see their work. They do awesome work. And like you said, it's not just Pokemon. It is anything, comic book, animated, anime. So if you have something that you like, that maybe if you like Steven Universe or something like that, like go for it, because Kelsey's talented. It'll come out awesome, and you won't be upset. So once again, this is the Alex Questa Show. David, any last words before we go?
No, I thoroughly enjoyed the show. I know we don't do video. If you guys saw me looking at my other monitor most of the time, it's because I was picking out something that I'm going to send to Kelsey to do.
It better be the box ghost. We just had an episode about ghosts. It better be the box ghost.
I am the box ghost. I love it.
So again, the Alex Questa Show. Like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars, Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth, because we don't only talk politics. We have fun, and we do these type of episodes too. Search us on the socials at the Alex Questa Show, and we'll see everybody next week. So long, all.